The third largest company this week, as we saw another massive rise. And Pat, this is like a daily changing item. When I think I put this topic down, you know, um, Nvidia had gained another AMD. They were sitting at like close to $2.4 trillion of market cap, maybe even 2.5. I'm trying to pull the chart right now because like I don't want to undersell just how absurd this was. So they peaked out this week they were trading at $972, which they closed yesterday at 875. So it's $100 a share change, Pat. So the company's market cap had skyrocketed up to like 2.4, 2.5 trillion. But in that past week, in the past month, this is probably just worth calling out. The company had soared past Google. It soared past Amazon. It then recently soared past Saudi Aramco, which was the only non-technology.
Right.
And then the irony, I think I tweeted something, and it wasn't that clever, by the way, but I tweeted something along the lines of, I guess AI is the new oil.
No, because we always, how many keynote speeches have you heard? And maybe
data is the new
years
oil,
ago I did
right?
the same thing. Exactly.
So, data being the new oil, now AI being the new oil. Well, Nvidia quickly passed, and by the way, is really one big earnings beat away from becoming the second or most valuable company in the world. That's the interesting data point of where we're at. And it's happened in such a short period of time. If you go back and you want to, go on a chart and you go back 3 months, the company's market cap has literally grown by $1 trillion.
Yeah.
In like just the past few months. That's like Qualcomm, Intel, AMD, and a Broadcom. That's all of them put together. Now, this is indicative of just how important and visionary Jensen Huang is, Pat. This is also frothy, unreasonable, unruly, and needs some check in terms of how fast it can grow, consolidate. And the rug pull last week was really interesting. I'm hoping. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just hoping to see this rug pull last a little longer so I can go in that Market Watch piece and do another victory lap about how I told you it was getting a little bit frothy up there. What were you going to say?
No, I was going to ask, did you see the Jensen interview at Stanford? I mean, it's pretty good. He's thrown out a few things like we have 100% inference market share. I don't think he wanted to say that given the regulators. He also said that the next generation of their AI cards, which you and I are going to both see at GTC, are going to be water cooled, right? Which, I'm not going to talk about Nvidia being third most valuable company. I did want to pontificate a little on this. Water cooling, at least historically for me, has always been it's what you do when you run out of options, okay? Meaning graphics card, we're going to make it go faster, or CPU, you do water cooling, right? If you want to win a benchmark war, right, you do liquid nitrogen. I did a couple of those when I was at AMD because we were running out of gas, right? This is what you do when you run out of gas. So, Daniel, it kind of makes me wonder, like, have we pulled every lever so far? We've done node shrinks, right? We've got disaggregated designs with chiplets, right? We've optimized packaging, and whether that's CoWoS, EMIB, Intel's 3D packaging. I always forget the code name for that.
Foveros?
Yeah, Foveros. But like, what's next? Are we going to literally start liquid nitrogen cooling these things? Are we going to move to more optical interconnects between GPUs as opposed to copper? Do we do a hard move to ASICs, right? Like, is it faster networking that's better distributing the workload across more nodes? We are running into a freaking wall here, and I'm really interested to go to GTC to see what they have in store. Like, how are we not hitting a wall, right?
how do we get more?
Yeah. How do we get the next big bump in performance at a reasonable power and heat? Right? You saw that Amazon bought a freaking data center next to a nuclear power plant. I mean, that's just so awesome, right? I mean, I got nothing against water cooling. It's funny. Steven's response to me was, "Oh, there's nothing wrong with it. I never said there's nothing wrong with water cooling. I'm just saying, like, what rabbit do you pull out of your hat after this to get the next big bump in a year and a half or two?"
Well, I mean, first of all, when you talk like that, it just makes it sound like you know something about semiconductors.
I don't know. I mean, some
I don't
people
think you
may
do.
infer that
No,
I know nothing about. I mean,
no,
I
you don't.
only.
I just wanted you to know I don't think you do.
Yeah, no,
I think,
I just read about it.
well, read and regurgitate. The
Selfie analysis is what I like.
I just scratched my head. You gotta but no, listen, I was talking to Pat Gelsinger a couple of weeks back, and he was talking about, by the end of the decade, we're talking about 1,000 times order of magnitude more powerful AI silicon, 1,000 times or more from where we are today. And so how do we get that performance? How do we do it sustainably? Again, practical sustainability, meaning we can't have 60% of the world's power being consumed by data centers. It does not, it will not work. At the same time, and by the way, 100% of inference, Pat,
It's at 100% market share in inference. Now, in the context, I believe what he means is in the data center for large language models, right? Because the example that he used was every time you do a prompt, put a prompt in, that's inference. He's absolutely right. That was the context.
No, I get that, but then if it's 100%, then what about that one I did on the Grok? I'm not talking about Grok on Twitter. I'm talking about on the Grok chip, because I'm inferencing an LLM on Meta's Llama on that chip. So it's got to be like 99.9999%. But I'd like to put an asterisk to make sure that we're accurate here, because I did an inference on a non-Nvidia chip on an LLM. It's happened. I've done one. Just saying, dude.